Woher wisst ihr von Fluffy?
Fluffy. Dieses Ding hat einen Namen?
Natürlich hat er einen Namen, ist mein Hund. Den habe ich so einem Iren abgekauft im Pub letztes Jahr. Jetzt hat ihn Dumbledore als Wachhund für...
Ja?
Hätte ich nur nichts gesagt. Schluss mit den Fragen. Hört sofort auf, mich zu löchern. Ist...
You have the conroe. Oz ain't taking this boat.
Irish, the storm is gonna kill us!
This storm's a fucking cavalry!
It's changing out there. Just like last time. There's a storm coming, Harry. We'd all best be ready when she does.
Then it's here for 60 years. Sumerian king list appears. So the 7 Anunnaki of the Sumerian king list. And then it's gone for 732 years. Over and over. Now, you did mention key dates. 1314. But 732 years after 1314 is the year 2046. And then 2046 is 60 years away from 2106. The Battle of Armageddon, the return of the chief cornerstone, the 6,000th year. So the answer to your question was already in your question. You just didn't understand the difference. It's 792 year periodicity. However, that periodicity is broken up between aphelion, when the Nemesis X object is far away and removed from us, disappeared into the sky, it's vanished. And then for 60 years, it hangs in the sky until it's gone. So That's the Nemesis X object. So starting in 2046, there will be something in our sky that just stays here for 60 years. And it is the reason why the Great Tribulation period of judgment is a 60-year period until the return of the chief cornerstone. He comes to set the captives free on the exact year that I've shown in multiple presentations. 2106 AD is the year that is stamped in our chronology, in our simulated holography, as the year of Exodus. Aiden Kruger. In 2024, is 2024 significant and dramatic change as far as cataclysms go in our realm? No, absolutely not. What we're going to have in 2024, when you say cataclysm, you're talking about something that's going to be hemispheric, vastly regional, or the entire world. So no. 2024 is going to be something else. 2024 is the breaking of the second seal. And what the breaking of the second seal is basically, to be very, very specific, all over Western nations, the Middle East and Europe and the United States, UK and Canada. All these nations are going to be suffering Muslim retaliation for United States involvement and protection of Israel. It's very simple. Retaliatory terroristic acts will be going on, small arms fires, attacks against infrastructure. It's going to be 1,000 little attacks in France and Germany, all throughout the UK, all throughout Canada, the United States. It's going to be a whole bunch of stuff going on all throughout there. This is all pre-planned. It's all funded by George Soros. Every bit of this, it's so out there, it's almost laughable. It's almost laughable how they just don't even care about hiding it anymore. It's all encoded in the Olympic ceremonies. Every bit of it's there for all of us to see. The Greek decoding of the second seal is a whole bunch of small arms fire. And I've shown my own listeners over and over, you cannot go by the intentionally deceitful Judeo-Christian interpretations of the Greek revelation text. You must use Greek lexicons, you must use Greek translations, and you must apply Greek mythology and history to the unfolding of events in the seven seals, because every single one of the letters of Paul were addressed to the lost sheep of the house of Israel that were located only in Greek cities. He named every single one of them. The Judeo-Christian eschatology is deceitful, and it gets you to believing a whole bunch of false narratives and false trails. The decoding of the first seal is absolutely genius. You got to see my video on that, how using the Greek actually unfolds all this material. And the elite are operating on the Greek Olympiad calendar. Every presidential election in the United States is on the Greek Olympiad calendar every 4 years, synced perfectly with it every 4 years, just like the Olympics. Every bit of this. This is why the Olympic ceremonies are vast rituals, basically painting magically exactly what the elite are introducing into the construct. Yeah, guys, this is all on my channel. But 2024 is not going to be cataclysm. 2024 is going to be confusion, because that's what the second horseman is about. That's what the second horseman is about. The Judeo-Christian interpretation has you believing that it's the red horse of war, all the nations, World War II. And it's not true. It's not true. There is no all nations fighting. There is no world war in 2024. None of that's true. There may be some skirmishes. There may be some battles. 3 or 4 nations may attack another nation. That's not a world war. So what it is, though, is it's very specific. It says, "And the second horseman is there to take peace from the earth." That's terrorism. That's what takes peace. If your community is all wild, and this is the same thing, the second horseman will have the same effects as the first horseman. What did the first horseman have? It doesn't matter if it was Apollo Pharmakeia attacking the human family by using a needle. It doesn't matter. The second horseman is equally doing the same thing, causing restrictions on travel, causing divisions among humans who are making them take sides, and locking down populations for security measures. It's the same thing, 2024. Deborah Schmidt. Every time I listen to Jason, I have the same question. What is the reason why we have been hidden all this information about the Phoenix, about the resets, about the identities of the controllers? Why? I know hiding information is a form of control, but is there more to it? Well, let me give you this example. I can only answer that by giving you examples from the historical records, such as only one race of people before the flood knew that the flood was coming. And the flood was caused by the Phoenix phenomenon. It's 2239 BC. It's on the 138-year Phoenix periodicity. Only one race of people knew it was coming, and they vanished. This is one thing Zecharia Sitchin got right. Before the flood, the Anuna disappeared, and it created a shock and awe period. And the people wanted to know, hey man, where did the gods go? How come they went? And these giant pictures and monuments were set up all over the world to try to induce them to come back. But they wouldn't come back because they knew what was coming. They hid. Now, the ancient aliens narrative would have you think that they went in ships and it's none of that. There are no spaceships. There is none of that anywhere in the Sumerian writings. What we have is a vanishing into the underworld. This is also a Phrygian tradition that King Anakos wanted to protect his people. Knowing of a coming disaster, he built underground cities in Turkey and vanished from the surface. And that's how he survived. How do we know that he and his people survived? Because we have that tradition. If they didn't survive that, we wouldn't have had that piece of history. So there are people living in Southeast Asia. There are people in Madagascar. There are people way out in remote areas of the Amazon basin right now who just might escape the construct. There are members of different communities everywhere who do not fit in. They understand that their place in this reality is somewhere else. It's not here. They have awakened to the fact that reality is unreal. It has the properties of a construct and not a true cosmos. They have awakened, and they have a personal relationship with the Oversoul that has allowed them to endure whatever their present circumstances are because they have faith that a better thing is coming. These individuals are not going to be a part of the next reboot. When the system reboots, it's going to shed problems. You understand, this is all about, the construct's all about self-preservation. It's going to shed away problems. Problems are those that require too much energy. When an individual soul is going its own way from the collective, is thinking its own designs, is creating its own reality tunnels, this requires more processing power than those who are subject to dungeon programming, those who have fallen for the ultra-conservative Christian mindset or the Muslim paradigm or the Shinto paradigm, whatever belief system it is. That's what belief systems are. They are aspects of dungeon programming. They keep people in collective mindsets because that uses a lot less processing power and a lot less energy, because the builder protocols have already created that construct. Now all it does is corral human souls into that area, and their avatars follow suit, and they stay in those areas, and they still do the same thing every day. The individuals who do the same single thing every day, every week, every month, every year, these are the individuals the construct really likes, because it doesn't take a lot of processing power to create for them a new world, because they're not creating a new world. They have fallen for dungeon programming. They are in stasis. Those the construct wants to shed during its resets, during its reboot period, those are the ones who are breaking pattern. Because breaking pattern creates a new world. It literally splinters off new timelines that you can enjoy. And that requires a lot of energy and a lot of processing power. And the more that's happening, the more it's going to label those individuals as, I call us errants. It may have a different name for it in the construct. It may just talk expendables. But to me, you are an errant if you go your own way. As a highly individualized soul, you do not accept the perimeters of your existence as the all, but realize that you're able to move in what direction you want to move, experience what you want to experience. You have the freedom of the spirit to build a whole new world for yourself. And even for others, you can do it. But that makes you a problem. So on the next reboot, you would be basically filtered out. We call that, from inside the construct, the Exodus event. So that's your first question. I'm gonna have to. It's not even my place to modify that. See, remember, the construct always honors your decisions. Always honors your decisions. All right. This is the name. Dilip Anthony Pinto. How can astrology be viable if this reality is a construct? How can astrology not be viable if we're in a construct? Astrology has already proven over and over and over to be true. And this is what this right here is what people don't understand about some of my presentations where I show the zodiac is not old. Those presentations are not an attack on astrology. And I triggered a lot of people who make their profession in astrology and all that have got really triggered about. Listen, astrology is ancient. Star labs, star tables go back to ancient Sumerian, Babylonian times, and we have those. What we don't have is the zodiac. That is very new. And in my presentations, I have laid out my case and provided free PDFs with nothing but data sets showing all the ancient civilizations who admit that the zodiac was basically very new, a very recent introduction into their own civilizations by the Greeks. Egypt, India, Rome, all of them said came from the Greeks. So, yes, I'm not attacking astrology, because all astrology is the exact pinpoints of luminaries where they are located when a phenomena occurs. Therefore, we're not dealing with anything other than pattern recognition. I'm all on board with pattern recognition. That's what Chronocon's all about. Showing all these patterns in history and how they unfold multiple times, like cookie cutter history stamped on civilizations. You just change the names, the dates, the cities, and their locations, and it's the same thing over and over and over. So, no, Archaics does not attack the credibility or the viability of astrology, because astrology is nothing but the human attempt at pattern recognition, at declaring what is at certain times when those luminaries are at certain coordinates. That's its lowest common denominator. I don't care about all the individual particulars, what all the different individual stars and booties are actually translate to, what they mean, and what that means if the moon is directly over this star or eclipsing this star. I don't care about any of that. All I care about is you to know that the zodiac is an artificial construct imposed by our controllers in order to promote many things. And it's used today and by many modern authors to date ridiculously ancient theories. Ridiculous theories. They use the zodiac. They're using archaeoastronomy. So they use something that has been introduced into the field only lately to date things that go back 6, 7, 8,000 years, and yet claim that those are actually 10,000, 11,000, 12,000, 13,000 years ago. They're using a new artificial construct to date something that didn't exist when whatever it is they're dating did exist. It's ludicrous. This is why I've brought these things to the table. Please do not think I'm attacking astrology. Evidence of this with retrocausality. We know by virtue of imagination we are able to experience the past. And we know by virtue of imagination we can even alter events in the past which create the reciprocal event in the present. We know this because we can do it to heal ourselves. We can do it to gain a better understanding. We are time travelers, but that time traveling doesn't involve the avatar, it involves the imagination. Remember, spiritual beings, intuition, empathy, and imagination. These are the 3 traits, but you don't have to exhibit all of them all the time. Imagination is highly spiritual. And with imagination, you can explore the construct. You can go forward and backward in time, and you can see how amorphous it is. It takes on structure the more we measure it, the more we analyze it, just like the perimeters of our reality right now. No one really knows. People argue that we're on a globe 93 million miles away from the sun. Other people argue that we're in a closed system. Other people argue that it's a flat Earth it's an infinity. It's just a field that just goes on and on and on. There's other continents and other worlds, and sooner or later, I guess they develop the idea that there's other domes or just one big dome. I don't know, but I believe that the more we theorize about the construct itself will assume those properties and reflect them back as truths to us, so that we basically enter a feedback loop of phenomena being projected from the construct for us to absorb as fact. And it's the same thing with history. It's the same thing. So yeah, that's the beauty of a construct. It's not a real reality. Every bit of this is falsified, but in its falsity there are Easter eggs. And we keep finding them, and it keeps showing us these beautiful deals. Because when I publish about chronologies and timelines and calendars, that's what it's called from our perspective.